And what I'd like to do real quick, and I pulled up a paragraph out of the contract that we have each of the network marketing companies sign that want to participate with the Monitium model. And as I read this, I think you're going to get an understanding as to just how big of an impact this is going to have. Number one, the MLM companies are lining up because they recognize exactly what Monitium represents. But number two, just in this specific section, I want to read this off. It's disciplinary action against Monitium associates. And Treasure, bear with me while I read this paragraph real quick because it's that important.
Yep.
It says, company agrees not to pursue any disciplinary action against any Monitium associate that enrolls with the company without first supplying written notification to Monitium with all evidence upon which company is relying on to initiate disciplinary action. During disciplinary review process, company agrees not to withhold associates' commissions or access to company back office. Company further agrees not to formally discipline any Monitium associate without first supplying full disclosure of any additional evidence developed during its investigation and first securing the prior written approval of Monitium, which will not be unreasonably withheld if discipline is warranted. Such disciplinary actions shall include but not be limited to suspensions, terminations, locking out of company back offices, withholding of commissions, withholding of bonuses, or withholding of rank advancement. So what I want to make clear here is that Monitium will represent the only avenue through which an associate or a professional network marketer will actually be given real protection. And when you see the legal counsels that we have, and our general counsel is Scott Warren of Warren & Wellman, but when you look at the other major attorneys that have come together on this, this is going to change the industry. And because of the power that we're bringing and the leadership and the numbers that we represent, the MLM companies, when the owners look at this, it's just a simple discussion saying, is it going to be equitable or is it not going to be equitable? And I can tell you this, that the owners recognize that to say no to this means that they do not have the best interests of their distributors in mind, and of course we wouldn't go into a company like that anyway.
Absolutely. And now since we're kind of on the topic of companies, let's just go ahead and move into that. And it's obviously the companies, as you said, that are paying us. So this is a big part of the equation. What exactly is the process of choosing a company?
Well, I think, number one, the first phase for everybody to recognize here is that Monitium is, in effect, becoming the Walmart of the network marketing industry. And the MLM companies are representing products within our system. So we have the distribution channel or the sales team, and they're going to want to move their products into our sales team. So Monitium ultimately has an incredible amount of ability here to go ahead and determine exactly what we want to go down. So what we're focusing on is not only ensuring the integrity of the ownership, because we look at the company, we look at its viability, we look at its product line, we look and we investigate, how many merchant accounts they have. We investigate the ability of the merchant accounts to handle volume. I don't need to tell any of the leaders on the line here that there have been, company after company that's appear to be good, but at the end of the day collapsed because the merchant accounts failed. So when we go into the merchant accounts and, of course, identify with criminal background checks all the owners of the company, etc., this is a very detailed process. And for some of the listeners on the phone that might not know my background, of course, it was in law enforcement, and that was one of the key components with this, is ensuring a real investigative process takes place. So as we go into the companies and we identify all these things, then we at the same time review the compensation plan. Of course, we have a very specific criteria for the compensation plans to fit into the type of pro formas that we have developed in order to maximize the payout, to the associate base here. So it's a very, very detailed process, Treasure, that's from start to finish. And then once we end up with that process, we've gone through, we've checked off all the issues, then at that time we go into full negotiations, to see if there's a meeting of the minds that can make this work. Now, I'm happy to say that we've already been approached by 7 different MLM companies that not only want to go ahead and have access to the Monitium base and their product, but are actually looking at bringing their entire genealogy and inserting it into the Monitium platform. And Treasure, my whole purpose in creating Monitium was to protect the professional network marketer. An unrealized component of that, which has now become very, very real, is that the network marketing companies today are seeing such broad-based attrition, and they're seeing so many of them collapse, that the progressive network marketing executive that owns the company is recognizing that, look, we've got all of our distributors already moving into additional companies. The average, younger network marketer is doing 2 to 3 businesses, and they're slowly overwhelmed, and or they move away from the company. So by the company moving its full genealogy in here, the owners of the company are able to go ahead and give their reps the opportunity to still have the multiple streams of income, yet keep the team unified. And what's amazing is the MLM companies actually see the opportunity here to create a co-op amongst the cooperative MLM companies that are part of Monitium, that they're actually sharing the same distributor base without the continuous competition and company hopping. And when you think of it from an MLM owner's mindset, that ultimately the checks that are coming through to their distributors from the other companies, well, they're also in the genealogy. So the company owners themselves are collecting it. They themselves can turn around and use those funds to further product, development and or maintaining and keeping their doors open as a company. So Monitium is not only going to bring in hundreds of thousands of associates in very short order, a large number of those are going to be from established genealogies of companies coming in.
I love that, and it's been really interesting to watch that process unfold. And as you said, it was something that you didn't even realize could happen, and as you came to the realization of it, watching and understanding what was really happening, because I know a lot of people come up and say, well, why would the companies want to participate in something like this? And as they see what's possible for the company, it's really protecting the entire industry, which makes it obviously all the better.
It's so true, and I mean, when you look at the companies, I mean, they look at this as, well, it's our protected genealogy. Like if you have an old school company, it's like, wow, we'd never open our genealogy up. Well, if we look at the average MLM company that's about 5 or 6 years old right now, let's say they've gone through, maybe they've had 200,000 reps come through their doors and process. That company on average today has less than 35,000 active members. That's the reality for our industry. At any one time, the latest, greatest deal, there's a large shift, and that company gets into a point where all of a sudden it's having a hard time keeping its doors open, especially the ones that went into the large corporate facilities, etc. So we offer them the ability to partner with a stable distributor base and really move forward. And I think the other key component to look at here is that the legal relationship that we've set up within these companies, they recognize that, yes, we have the best, the best ideas for our associates' protection, but we're also open to recognizing the MLM owners and the type of protections that they want, which is, for the most part, the financial protection. And so we, in effect, are an insurance policy, not only for the associates' business, but also for the MLM owner.
Right. Absolutely. Let's move into the enrollment, and let's talk about, I want you to explain what exactly VIP closed enrollment means and how specifically this company is going to roll out.
Treasure, it's a great question. I mean, when we look at the enrollment phase and what everybody's dealing with right now, of course we're in a beta mode. This is a very exclusive rollout. It's important for everybody to understand we are not in open enrollment. We haven't released any of our replicating websites, and that's intentional because this is really just for the top players in the industry right now. It's positioning, and we're filling in the top levels of our company with the best of the best. Now, during